out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You are to an Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man, Kill. I got my squad with me. In effect, as always, I got my sister P in the crib. What's up, babe?
Not a whole lot, Kill. Just good to be here.
All right. I got this dude who ain't been around for a long time with this nigga's fucking hoodie on. What's going on, bro?
You a hater, but what's going on? It feels good to be back, for real. All about
I gotta be a hater, man. Come on, y'all. Let's
You're a
move
hater,
on.
that's fine.
You know I hate that word hater. Babe, BK, what's going on, bro?
Chilling, man. Both these teams are bum ass teams to me, so I don't care.
Cut this nigga off, yo.
And out there on the West Coast, we got this other Knicks fan over here that I got to deal with. It's too much fucking energy in the house right now, man. Yo, let me tell you this. Porsche, what books are you reading right now? What book are you reading?
The book that I'm reading, I'm actually revisiting Tupac's Legacy book because I love it. I don't know if you've seen it, and I also am reading The Souls of Black Folk.
Okay, there you go. I'm reading this book. I don't know if you've ever seen this boy. His name is Jay Shetty. He's a podcast boy. He used to be a monk. So I'm reading this book called Think Like a Monk. It's about changing the way you think. So, JR and Eddie, I'm sure you can remember that game 2 where we were up 6 points and y'all Reggie Millered us or whatever the fuck. And I was really upset. And what a Think Like a Monk mindset did was you ask yourself, why are you upset? And I said, I'm upset because we lost the game. Then you ask yourself, well, what would make you happy? And I said, if we win a championship. Then you ask yourself, can this team win a championship? And then I say to myself, no. Then you say back to yourself, then why are you upset? It doesn't matter if you win, if you lose to the Knicks or you beat the Knicks. If the only thing that matters to you is can you win a championship and this team can't win a championship, then why are you so upset? And it's like I walked away like, yo, I feel better. Jay Shetty, Think Like a Monk, y'all. I'm telling y'all, it's a good-ass book. It will, at 50, I have to keep my stress down. And the words that were coming out of my mouth, Naomi was like, yo, what happened? I was like, yo, just, so yeah, Think Like a Monk, very dope book. Let's jump into the topic this week, y'all. We are talking about, we have done the dopest bass lines in hip-hop, the dopest drums, the dopest piano samples. Today, we are talking about horns. We are talking about what are some of the dopest horn samples in hip-hop. Not, repeat, for everybody listening, Porsche, not name Troy. So we will not be talking about this Tom Scott album right here, the Honeysuckle Breeze. We all know Troy would be number 1 on 9 times out of 10 everybody's list. So let's just go ahead and get it out the way. Porsche, go right ahead. Talk about Troy for the next 20 seconds.
I mean, thank you, because I was going to say Troy anyway.
We know, Jonas. We know, Casey. We know.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I have beef with this. What's the best ... and then, but you can't say fill in the blank. And the reason I have beef with this is because there is a reason why we always mention this particular person, track, producer, blah, blah, blah. And I think that merits all the times that they're mentioned. So anyways, Troy, amazing use of everything. Amazing use of horns, of samples, of MCs, flow, of production. Like, it's just the best. It is truly the best ever. So I'm glad that you gave me this little opportunity to talk about it, Kill. That actually satiates my craving to talk about Troy in this episode. Thank you.
I don't even know what that word you just used meant, but okay, I'll take that as disrespect, like Kevin Hart would say. I don't know these big words you're using, but I'm gonna take that as disrespect. Eddie, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna, kind of jump off of what Porsche said, but my comment is, if they were to give a chip to different producers for using particular types of sample, Pete Rock would have the horn chip. Like he gets that horn chip because, Troy is the one everyone knows. But if you look all and down his discography, whether he produced for Pete and CL or other artists, it's like he got some of the dopest horn samples. Period.
No doubt. We gonna dive into that too. We're gonna dive into Pete Rock's horn bag too on this episode. So we're gonna be talking a lot about that. We're also going to be looking at it. Why was it so 90s heavy? Not too many producers nowadays use horns. You know what I mean? How did that get played out? And all those dope things. Pete, so outside of Troy, what is the first one you want to rock with?
Okay, so the track that I have, and again, I love these topics because I get to say like artists that I typically wouldn't. Get Out My Way by Cormega off the Realness album. If you remember that track, Kill, I don't know if you've even heard it because I know how you feel about Cormega, but
that's going to be a hard pass for me. But
yeah, it's The Realness is actually, to me, I love that album. That's like that's a 4-mic album on a good day, like it's for me. And so this one, I love the use of the horns. I think it's used in a very the only way I could describe it is really majestic. And what I mean by that is it comes in quite enveloping, like it envelops the whole sound of the track, and it really sets the groundwork. And I think that it's a very, very good use of horns in particular. So, and then I love Cormega's rapping. I like Cormega all the way up until the Mega Philosophy album that Large Professor produced. So I'm like a total Cormega fan, but I had to mention that. So
no doubt. Tone from Into the Dome, what's good, bro? Everything good?
Yeah, what's good? How y'all doing?
Man, great. Everybody good, man. Just having to deal with these two Knicks niggas. Veg, are you a Knicks fan too?
Who?
Veg, nah. Who your basketball squad, Vegas?
I don't have one.
Okay, all right.
Now he don't have one. He was rooting hard for Brooklyn a little while ago, and now Brooklyn trash, and he's like, I ain't got a squad.
Come on, dog. Don't give me don't started. Now, just to be clear, since you asked the question, I used to be a Knicks fan until they gave Allen Houston that contract. I don't fuck with the owner. They've been trash for the most part as a result of him. This is the first time.
Hey, they gave Allen $100 million, didn't they?
What'd you say?
They gave Allen Houston $100 million, didn't they?
Yeah, after not doing anything in the finals. But that's besides the point. That's a long time ago. Yeah. But obviously, it say Brooklyn on the jersey. What I'm going to root for Brooklyn. I mean, it's Brooklyn. I'm not coming back to the Knicks. I'm sorry. I know y'all want the God down with y'all, but you can have it. You're not going to the finals. Relax.
It's all good. It's all good. That's a whole nother podcast. Let me get started with my first joint. Right after Troy, the first horn sample that I always go to because it was like Troy hypnotized me. And then when I heard Bucktown from Smith & Wesson, that was the next thing that just hypnotized me. If Troy is number one, then Bucktown to me is number two. I remember, and I it's because it was this, I can't remember if it's Princeton. It was a radio station in Jersey back in like 90, 91 that would come on Thursday nights. And I heard Troy one week and then, followed up, a couple of weeks down the line with Bucktown. And it's just hearing that horn. And it was just like from that, then the beat drops and everything like that. Jack Bruce samples, no sample snitching. Y'all motherfuckers got the internet. Who sample will tell you everything. So don't get mad at me. But yeah, just an incredible sample. You know what I mean? I don't know what else to say. Another thing that we're going to talk about when we get, I'll wait till we start getting into why do we think horns got played out. But yeah, definitely Bucktown is one of mine. JR, what's one of your next joints?
Redman, Tonight's the Night.
Ooh.
As soon as it comes on, like it just hit you right there, especially using that, Isaac Hayes, "Don't Let Go" joint. So, like, I was like, when you hit us and said we couldn't use Troy, the first thing that came to my mind was Redman, because the way that Tonight's the Night just comes in and it like that joint is ill. So yeah, that's my favorite joint using horns anyway. So.
That's a dope pick right there, man. It's something about that one album, man. I mean, it was my freshman year at Morgan, so many memories to it. But God, I love that album.
I love it.
Vay, what you got for your first joint?
All right, for my first joint, I got Apollo Kids, Ghostface Killer. One of the things I like about it the most is it's almost like boom bap symphony, the way the horn sound in this particular record. And obviously a lot of that has to do with Ghostface hypeness on the record as well.
Right.
But when I first heard that joint, I was like, this sounds monumental. And the horns, like that shit is crazy. So yeah, I love that record.
Yeah, I gotta give a shout. I forgot what's the boy name. It was one of the boys from the UMCs who produced that joint. You know what I mean? Which was crazy. But yeah, I was just like, damn, this boy, Blue Cheese did this. Like, okay, that's a come up right there, bro. You know what I mean? Because again, that's one of them joints you could have told me RZA did that, and I would have fit right in pocket with everything else. Tone, what you got for your first joint, fam?
I'm gonna go with Royal Flush Ice Down Medallions. Man, just when he said motion picture, when he started that flow and that horn come in, yeah, that's one of the best horns I've heard on the track, man. Like, yeah, and the Ghetto Millionaire album is actually a slept on. It's a dope album, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Ice Down Medallions had a dope horn to it, man.
Man, that's crazy. That joint was crazy right there. People forget about Worldwide, man. That was my joint too, man. Like, man, that thing was. It's funny. What year did that drop? That Ghetto Millionaire? Do y'all know? Remember?
97, I believe. 97, I think it dropped.
I don't know how that got lost in the mix, man. 97 must have just been real top heavy with dope hip hop, because that was a dope album that a lot of niggas don't talk about. Yeah. And definitely salute to Flush. He's battling cancer right now, so definitely salute him on that battle right there. Prayerfully, he can come through. You know what I mean, and all that good stuff. Eddie, what do you got up first for your joints?
The first one I'm going with is "Move Something" by Reflection Eternal. Man, High Tech, low key. High Tech was in his horn bag on that joint too, man. Yeah, like that album, but. It's just the way he's blaring, the way he uses it throughout, like just and it. I want to say it was like the second joint. It was kind of setting off the album with that joint, right? So, yeah, definitely brought the energy. Like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I remember the first time I seen the video for that, I was like, "Yo, this thing crazy." You know what I mean? I'm like, this album about to be. And if I'm not mistaken, that like came out in 2002, because it was like this is like one of the first albums of the new millennium that like set off the new millennium, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, Tech lost his mind on that joint. P, what's another joint you got?
Another one I've got. This one's an instrumental, but it's "You'll Find a Way" by Dead Prez off the Let's Get Free album. And that track starts off with a really nice piano, and it is just so amazing. And then right after, it's the piano and then the introduction of the horns, and it's just so beautiful. This is one of the best instrumentals ever, and I think it's not talked about. Like, I've never heard people talk about it. I know we always go to Petestrumentals for the best instrumentals, but there's some really nice gems out there, so I had to mention this one.
The funny thing, I was just shooting a Illadelph Steak Life with Iron and Gadget. Here's the funny thing, y'all. I was never a big Dead Prez fan. I feel like as a hip hop head, I'm not supposed to say that, and like we all supposed to love that song hip hop. I just didn't get the hype. Like, I don't know if it was the production. It was almost like, yo, this the new Public Enemy, and they all loud, and it was like, I feel you, but something just never clicked with me with Dead Prez. I don't know why, but
didn't Lord Jamal do some of the production on "Let's Get Free"?
Maybe he did, but I mean, I probably heard that album once, and like, if I listen to an album and nothing sticks out to me production wise or lyric wise, like nothing that makes me come back, then I probably never go back to that album. So I probably heard that album like one time, but I just feel like that song Hip Hop, we're all supposed to love that song, and I'm just left. I'm in the minority. I'm out in the cold on that because
hey kid, go back
you
and
put
listen
that
to
shit
that,
on,
bro.
and I'm chilling.
Listen
to it again.
Give it another shot, bro.
All right, I'll throw it back in there.
It's pretty dope, man.
Okay. All right. Next joint I got up for me, another time. First time I heard this group, I saw the video. I thought it was dope. I heard the sample, Flavor of the Month by Black Sheep. Sure. Man, I love that Herb album, Trumpet right there. It was like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, here's the wild part. Here's another minority in with me. I'd rather listen to Flavor of the Month than The Choice Is Yours. I get it. I know I'm in the minority, and y'all know me. I'm fine with that, but I just love Flavor of the Month. That beat is crazy to me. I know it. To me, they're two totally different songs. Like The Choice Is Yours is almost for the club. It gets you hyped. Flavor of the Month is kind of some chill shit. But like, if I had to pick between two that I could just listen to, is Flavor of the Month. I love the video, everything about it. And like I said, that Herb album, Trumpet line was just crazy for me. So just always one of my favorite joints. JR, what you got up next, bro?
I got Blue Funk by Heavy D. Using that Pot Belly sample. Oh my God, Pete Rock is just, like y'all said, when it comes to horns, he's that dude. So yeah, Blue Funk, love that record too. So yeah, that's on my list.
That's a dope pull. Veg, what you got?
Clips, The Funeral. That's horns. And you really don't, like, when you first hear it, you really don't know where the beat is going to go. Mm-hmm. When that hop comes in, it's like, oh, this record is crazy. And just the way the horn set it off just perfectly. I almost forgot about it because I hadn't listened to that album in a while, but yeah, that one was crazy.
Yeah. And then I want to say that was the first time I heard the Clips. We got that up at EAA, and it was like, yo, this shit crazy. Like, who these boys or whatever like that. But just very dope song. Tone, what you got up next?
I might have been a little late, so somebody might have said this, but I had PE Shut 'Em Down remix with Pete Rock.
Nobody said that one yet.
I mean, that's what, to me, honestly, I would say personally, that's one of the top 5 remixes in hip hop history. I mean, it's a flawless remix. The horns are just as good as Troy to me. That's how much I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just an amazing beat. That Pete Rock. I mean, Pete Rock is the remix king to me. You know what I'm saying? So this is just one of his top shelf remixes, man. The horns are insane on this joint.
Yeah. I think not the funniest, but the craziest thing about that is like PE was kind of dead in the water by that album. You know what I mean? And that Shut 'Em Down remix, man, just
Jesus Christ
brought them. I mean, that just brought them back from the dead. Like, it was just like, and it's a great example of just how like the production can really shift the song, because it's not like, oh, positive hip hop is played out. It's the same lyrics that was over the old Shut 'Em Down. You know what I mean? But it's just a testament that if you get a crazy enough beat that, you be talking about, it didn't matter if Chuck, if being positive was played out by that time. Over that beat, it didn't matter. Like, that was going to do it. So, I mean, again, crazy. Eddie, what you got up next, bro?
Yo, since I see people throwing out big jokers, I gotta do Lucchini. This Is It by Camp Low, man. That's one of the illest, obviously, man. Like, one of the illest songs for its time, period. But that sample, of course, crazy.
Yeah, I always say, if you don't smile when Lucchini comes on, I don't know if you the feds or you just fucking a demon or something, bro. Like, that gotta put a smile on anybody's face, right there. It's a perfect joint. Let's take a break for a minute and kind of talk about, do you think, I don't hear a lot of horns anymore. Like, why do you think they got played out? Am I wrong? Am I hearing horns and I'm just not paying attention? Like, why do you think horns kind of like, it seemed like to kind of fade out from being used in hip hop like that? Like, JR, what you think? We could just go around.
I mean, people not even really playing like instruments or nothing like that anymore. So it's like, to me, and then the production is not what it used to be. So I feel like a lot of people just not using them because it's just not what it is anymore. So it's like, and people are not creative anymore as far as producers and all that. Because it's like, yo, y'all got horns, use them, and they don't. So I just think that, and they don't care to use them, to be honest. So that's how I feel.
All right, P, what about you?
I think that horns, like much like any real like instrument, has a vibe, and I feel like usually it's like, I don't want to say it's always like jazzy, but most of the time it's gonna add sort of like a vibe to the song that you have to, the producer has to know how to use it correctly, otherwise it's gonna sound misplaced. And because horns can be, actually I'm not going to say they are, but they can be a little aggressive, it may actually take over the rest of the production and the rest of the beat. And so if the producer doesn't know how to properly integrate horns into the production, then they're going to stay away from it. It's almost like, and then you've got people like Pete Rock that are so good at integrating horns that you kind of, I feel like, I mean, I'm not a producer, but I feel like for some producers, it really may be intimidating because look who you're being compared to. Like, listen to the examples that we've already kind of put out there. And these are exceptional uses of horns. So you're listening to these and then you're thinking, like, you really have to know, I think like you really have to know what you're doing to use horns like that because they can be misplaced or overpowering.
I have a theory. I was just thinking about this. I got a theory about Pete Rock. And
hold on for a second. We're gonna get to the rock celebration part. So we're gonna get there. Hold tight. I'm gonna bring it up even sooner than later, just for you. Veg, what do you think about horns being not used as much, or like how did they get played out, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think JR and Porsche kind of touched on it. I think there's a lack of deep creativity nowadays. I can't say that about everybody, but in a lot of ways, you really don't have to work as hard to have a hit today as you would have thought back in the days where it felt a little bit more competitive. To Portia's point, horns can be a little bit aggressive. Like, I remember one of the first things I learned working at a jazz radio station, producing like promos, is typically, you really may not want to use vocals or horns under as a music bed for the promo because they could tend to distract, regardless of the level, the volume you have it at. So I think it's some of that, but I think also it's just not a go-to for most producers nowadays. And cats using Fruity Loops and all of that, Fruity Loop masters and shit. So yeah, I can't call it, but then again, who knows? Maybe I have something on my list that's more current, so we'll see.
Right. Tone, what about you?
Man, I just actually think that a lot of the 90s producers that we've talked about so far was influenced by jazz. I just think they like jazz music. I think Q-Tip, Lost Professor, Pete Rock, of course, even Premier and some of these guys, Rills and some of these guys, they studied music different than these younger producers now. Now it's like, okay, he's got a bop to it. We're trying to get this joint in the club. You know what I'm saying? I think back then they record hunted. They went to different joints to listen to records. You know what I'm saying? You see pictures of Dilla and all these guys record hunting, just like you do, Kill. You know what I'm saying? Like, you looking at records, you studying the music, you appreciate jazz and Duke Ellington and all these guys. So essentially, you're going to be taking samples that have horns in it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I think nowadays the new producers of the last 15, 20 years don't listen to jazz music the same way Tip them did. You know what I'm saying? So the beats don't sound different. You're not going to hear horns anymore. Outside of like when Common new album come out, obviously Pete Rock going to have some horns on that shit because he's still doing the jazz. Yeah. But the newer guy, Metro Boomer and all these guys, they're not going to have jazz samples.
Yeah, I guess horns don't get strippers naked quick enough.
No,
so I mean, it don't got that same
horns
effect.
For deep thinkers. Jazz is
right.
You know what I'm saying? Not shaking your ass, not bands and make a dance.
Right. Eddie, what about you, bro? What you think?
Yeah, I think it's what everyone was saying. It's the creativity. I think it was the digging, right? Those producers we know and love who were sampling them joints. They were digging for it. They were going through and finding inspiration from like what their parents played at home, right? That's another thing, right? A lot of the producers now, like how many of them, the younger generation, how many of them have parents playing records like that at home, right? So yeah, it's definitely a lot of that, and probably also what you guys were saying about it being a more difficult instrument to incorporate, right? You got to be kind of intentional, right, about how you utilize it to best incorporate into what you're doing, and on top of that, you want to have an MC who could rock over it, right? Nowadays, It's like they're trying to do things that are kind of more moody, atmospheric, barely even using drums. How the hell are they going to use horns? So,
good point. And I think it's a little bit all that. I think too. For a lot of the joints that I was seeing was like, and it made me think, because we've done a show about like why the producers fall off or why they kind of disappear. And I was thinking back in the early 90s, making beats was basically very simple. You found a break beat, then you could literally grab any jazz record. You literally could just go in this pack and just pull out any jazz record. It's going to be a bass line. Get the bass line over the drum beat. Give me a horn sample. Ba, 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 ba. Like, just use that. We only gonna use it for the chorus, and then we gonna go into something different. So it's real. I don't want to say simplistic to make beats, but it got harder when it was like, okay, now we're separating kicks and snares, and now we're not using the jazzy bass lines anymore. Now we're using, when you hear the deep cover bass line, that is totally different than, Who's the Man off of Daily Operations bass line for J. Rule's part. You know what I mean? So we're still using bass lines in hip hop, but we're not using jazz bass lines in hip hop. And we're no longer just using breakbeats. So I think a lot of producers from the 90s couldn't make that transition over from this simple 1-2 formula. And I'm in no way trying to discredit the greatness of the beats that came out in the 90s, but now just being a producer and seeing how it was made, it was kind of simple. Like, it wasn't very hard, to where that shift came. That's why we lost a lot of people. Like, why didn't Diggable Planets be able to bounce back? You know what I mean? Because they were caught in that jazz loop. The Boogie Monsters. There were a lot of groups that we lost because those producers couldn't make that jump of, all I gotta do is get one of these breakbeat albums. You know what I mean? Got a breakbeat, put it on. Again, finding a jazz bass line, finding some horns. And the other thing I realized about a lot of horns is they were just used for the chorus. You know what I mean? So a lot of times it kind of was a little more digging. I don't know about for y'all, but for me, because I'm like, I'm not thinking of the chorus a lot of times. I'm thinking of the whole song. Like, the bass line is used the whole song, or the main sample is used the whole song. A lot of these joints I got checked around from A Tribe Called Quest. Like, those horns are only there for the chorus. And then for the sample, the part we all know is like, that's the Minnie Riperton sample. You know what I mean? Not the average white fan sample. So I also thought that was really kind of dope. The difference of the horns is that a lot of producers really just use them for the chorus, and then they kind of pulled them back for the rest of the song and everything like that. But just one of the things. So I think maybe that's kind of a portion of it. And just like what everybody else said, it's really not a lot of jazz, and I don't know. Maybe there's less. I don't know, JR. Do you think there's less horns in soul sampling? Like, do you think like there's a lot of, if like, when when Just and Kanye in 2000 with the Blueprint, everybody's doing the Chipmunk sped up soul sample.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's as many horns like that in jazz. I mean, you figure any jazz record for the most part is going to have horns because you got a sax player or a trumpet player. So again, every jazz song is going to have a bass line. So you don't have to pick up a Charles Mingus album to get a dope bass line. You don't have to get a John Coltrane album to get a good sax line or whatever like that. So just something to think about. P, what's another joint that you got up for you? Oh, she just dipped out for a second.
I'm good. Another joint I have is Jay Dilla Blazed off the Donuts album. That Donuts album is one of my favorites, and that use is exactly what we were just talking about. Like, this is a producer who understands how to use horns, integrates it perfectly. It's not overpowering. It is just all of the right things. And yeah, I just couldn't do this without mentioning Dilla.
Right. I feel you. One of the joints I got put out there, Spodioti Dopalicious, Outkast. Like, to me, those horns are just, I mean, they're perfect. You know what I mean? They make the song. I mean, I think they're like universal. You know, when you start seeing HBCU bands playing them horns, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? And there's so many different, I feel like, interpretations of them. Like Beyonce has done an interpretation of them. You know, what's that new song? I Put It On My Mama. Like, it's not the same, but I feel like they even took a little piece of it, from the Spodioti. So again, just an incredible song. And I mean, I think if you say that to most people, I think the horns of what Spodioti is what's going to come to mind. Or if you just ask somebody, what's the first thing you think about Spodioti? It's probably going to be those horns and everything like that. JR, what you got up next?
I got Stir It Up, Tribe Called Quest. I mean, you're coming right in with dun, 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 dun. Now I don't know who this group is. I don't know who the hell they are, but yeah. But that coming right in, Tip using that right from the beginning told you they were not playing when it came to Midnight Marauders. So it was like, yes, like we coming in not playing with y'all. So yeah, I love that horn coming in. So yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's so funny because Midnight is 94, right?
93.
93. And Return of the Boom Bap is 93, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
KRS. Yo, they just made the cut for Jazz getting played out. Like, they just made that cut. Because even when I'm thinking about Out of Here by KRS, that's a Jazz bass line. You know what I mean? Like, they literally just made the cut before Jazz and all that stuff got played. I was listening to Electric Relaxation the other night, and I'm like, yo, this song was so crazy. But again, let that album come. And it's so hip hop is so funny like that, because if that album comes out in 95, I don't know if it gets received the same way, you know, just because the sound of hip hop was changing. You know, I don't know. Vague, what do y'all think?
If Midnight Marauders came out?
If Midnight Marauders came out 95 instead of 93, just because production styles had kind of started to change like that.
Yeah, I don't know, because I think in a lot of ways, just all the new artists might have done more damage to Tribe as far as attention goes than anything. Right. But musically, yeah, I think it still would have been able to rock though.
Okay. All right. Tone, what you think?
I mean, you know, I'm biased, my G. Midnight Marauders is my favorite rapper. So I don't give a fuck what year it come out in. It's so great. It could be 95, 96. Sometimes you just can't deny amazing music. Great. What Q-Tip did for Midnight Marauders, man, I don't even think the year even matters personally. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, 93 was still a perfect year because Jazz was starting to fade out. But man, Midnight Marauders is monstrous, man.
I'm not. I feel you. But when you think about Midnight and that production up against the Wu production, which I felt where hip hop was starting to move towards, you know what I mean? It's like we were able to still get different styles in the same time span. You know what I mean? Because the rebirth of Cool was like 92, right? That whole Cool like that shit.
That's 93 too.
That's 93, 4 or something like that, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but eventually by 94, like by the time Hard to Earn dropped, you could tell the difference between Hard to Earn and Daily Operation.
Daily Operation was more jazz influence.
Wasn't Jazzmatazz 93 as well? Jazzmatazz was 93 as well, right? Or was it 92?
Maybe 92. I get confused because it was my freshman year at Morgan, but that's 92 to 93. So I can't remember what year it came out in. But I think that still gets the pass because it was a jazz album per se. It really wasn't supposed to be a hip hop album.
I mean, 1995 was an interesting year. So how Midnight Marauders would have sounded in 1995, that is interesting when you think of Liquid Swords and a lot of shit that Cuban Links came out, the infamous. So the production had changed. You know what I'm saying? It got more aggressive in 95 as opposed to the laid back sounds of lyrics to go, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that on Midnight Marauders. But Tip was so. But you're kind
of right, because when Dilla reused the Minnie Riperton sample, you know, for Slum, it still hits. So you know, could be the same thing. Vay, what you got up next?
I got the 900 number. 45.
45K.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Famously used. I saw a website where they listed it like DJ Cool sample, and I'm like, whoa.
Right. Let's bring that back.
Let's bring that back. Like, y'all didn't watch the MTV Raps and that Lover and His Dumb Dance?
Right.
900 number. So,
Yeah.
Probably one of the
Yeah, no doubt.
probably one of the famous tracks in hip hop, as far as break beats go. Just doesn't get old. Every time you hear it, just sounds good. So it's definitely a classic horn sample.
Yeah, I gotta shout out my man Iron. He was shouting out Mark just because he was like, yo, Mark, we were talking about last week was record store day, so we was out. We actually met these other two boys, younger producers, like in their early 40s, and I was asking them about lo-fi, because I was like, I don't understand this lo-fi shit. What the fuck is it? And it was like, more of the stories is just like instrumental hip hop. You know what I mean? Like, it's really no MCs, just instrumental. My man Ivan was like, yo, it's Mark the 45 King. That nigga had the night, like, that's one of the most popular songs ever. You know what I mean? There ain't no rapper on it. You know what I mean? But if you were outside back in the day, like you said, with your MTV Raps, there's no way you could deny that joint. You know what I mean? But I think for a lot of people, for a lot of younger generation, they've never heard that song because it's an instrumental. So it's never really going to get played on any old school radio station. If you didn't see your MTV Raps, you would never really know about that joint like that. But like you said, definitely one of the dopest joints. Rel, what's going on, bro?
What's the deal?
Oh man, same stuff, different day, man. Just hoping the Sixers win this game. Tone, what you got up next, bro?
I'm gonna go with Tupac, So Many Tears, man. You know what I'm saying? That horn on So Many Tears was so heartfelt, and it gave you the energy and vibe of the song, man. And the way Tupac floated over So Many Tears, man, it was perfect. You know what I'm saying? So that just even when it first come on, that horn hit you, man. It put you in kind of like that mellow, deep thinking style because Tupac was a poet at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So Many Tears and the horns was flawless.
Right. No doubt. Eddie, what you got? Would you say, P?
I had that one too. Good one, Tom.
No doubt.
Yeah. All right. What you gonna say, Eddie?
My joint might be the total opposite of, like Tone's joint when he's talking about like the feeling that I brought. And it's Night of the Living Bassheads by Public Enemy, man. That joint, the stabs, it's just chaos, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and you think of the subject matter and all that, it was just perfect, right? Talk about, drug addiction and all of that. And, you know what I'm saying? And it would, just signature PE Bomb Squad, like, crazy. Like, the whole production all throughout that album was crazy, man. But that joint was definitely one of the standouts for sure.
Yeah, I think Pete, we gonna give Pete love, but we gotta get a Bomb Squad some love too because they was using horns before Pete was using horns. You know what I mean? So I got a couple of people on here that you could damn near pick the whole album for horn samples. That was just crazy, and the Bomb Squad was one of those first. I won't say the first, but one that really made that the horn really something. Well, give me three of the joints you got.
3?
Yeah.
Okay. I got Drink Away the Pain off the Mobb Deep album. Infamous.
Rel with his Mobb Deep. Rel with his Mobb Deep, man. This boy cannot come on here for one show and not shout out Mobb Deep. All right, Drink Away the Pain.
Y'all know how I love that album. I'm gonna go We Major. Kanye joint featuring Nas. You know what I mean? That was one of my favorite Kanye songs. Beat Crazy, all that. And let's see, should I go with? I'm gonna go with Rump Shaker.
Okay.
Good one, man.
That is a good one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
classic.
Okay. Yo, it's funny. I was gonna use the PE joint where they actually got that from.
Right.
Right.
Because I was working out to some PE and I was like, yo, I can listen to that instrumental just on repeat. You know what I mean? Freedom is a road seldom traveled by the multitude. Like, then that beat just dropped. I was, that was something crazy. And the way Teddy used it for Rump Shaker, that's definitely a dope pull right there, man. That's definitely dope. P, what you got up next, babe?
My Outcast one has already been mentioned. I'm gonna go. This one's kind of obvious, but I had to mention it because I kind of hate on this album a little bit, so I'd like to give it some love. You Came Up by Pun and Noriega.
Oh, and Nori, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one, though.
That was my shit, man.
Yeah, the reason why I say that one's kind of obvious is because Pun kind of tells you the horns are there. So not only if you're not paying attention, you all of a sudden are like, hey, what horns is he talking about? And then it immediately introduces the horns, and so your ears kind of perk up to it. But it is a very, very good use of the horns, and I do like that Pun kind of did that. I think the whole dynamic of it, it gives you that studio sort of experience, and then it really, this is where I think the aggression in the horns is used so properly, because it really is the precursor to the energy in that song. So when those horns drop and when those horns end, you get the rest of the song, which keeps the energy going. And I really like that. To me, I think it's really a perfect use of the horns in that way. I love it.
Yeah. Nah, that's one of my favorite joints off that album. You Came Up. Next joint I got, NOG, Be a Father to Your Child.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? Like, that joint, I think it had to be like 89, and it was just like, number one, the horns just grab you, but then it's just like, even the message at that time. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was just a dope song, like, you know, on some real shit. I mean, fuck, what, 35 years later, like, we need to still be playing that shit
in
the neighborhood.
That whole album was dope, bro.
Oh, yeah, Special Ken and Teddy Tay. Definitely, like, I'm different. Everything on that joint, I gotta have that whole album.
Gotta have it, yeah.
Yeah, that whole album was crazy. You know what I mean? Produced by the Awesome 2. But I mean, I think that was just a dope song at that time to like really be on some old like positivity. Like, yo, be a father to your child. You know what I mean? And it was funny because this is probably 89, 90. So this is around the time when niggas were starting to get girls pregnant in high school, and then you got Forever My Lady by Jodeci. It's like, so you having my baby, you know. It was at that place, so it was like, yeah, that's dope. Like, be a father to your child. Don't be no deadbeat, nigga. You know what I mean? So, always got to salute LOG. And here's nothing. LOG's still out here rhyming, man. He's still out here doing it. So, he's one of those MCs. My man on Twitter was saying, yo, we gonna have to do a show to salute Boston, man. I think Boston, like, gets lost, you know, whenever we talk hip-hop. But Boston got some heavy hitters, man. You know what I mean? And a dope pedigree, too. Veg, what's up?
Please do not include Benzino when you do Boston.
Oh no. His name doesn't even come up in the discussion of
the maid man who we gave.
Yeah, nah. We
mics to in the book.
Nah, we
4.5, bro. I said you gotta be kidding me.
Right.
We more so looking at the gurus and the terminologies and the crumb snatchers and the big shugs, you know.
But you gotta get easy money on for that one for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly who you already know who's getting the phone call to be the Boston tour guide on that joint right there. So yeah, be a father to your child. JR, what's the next joint you got up, fam?
Shoot, I'm gonna go with because a couple of mine was taken. Today was a good day, Ice Cube.
Okay.
Using that,
the Isley Brother sample.
Yes, sir. Yeah. When my mom actually caught that one because we was listening to it and she was like, yo, you can hear the horn behind the chorus, and I was just like, oh shit, okay, you can hear it. And yeah, so ever since then I have that on a playlist of my horn. So a lot of these songs I already have on a playlist because I love horns. So yeah.
All right, now when I hit you with this topic, you said that. What is it about horns that you love so much?
All right, well, my grandfather loved horns, right? So he loved to hear them. So it's like it made him smile when he heard it. So before he passed, he wanted my grandmother to buy him a horn, and we had him playing it in the hospital, even though he sucked. But at the end of the day, like he liked it, you know what I mean? So I feel like now, anytime I hear a horn, I feel like that's me and him talking to each other. It's like his spirit talking to me. So that's why I love horns, man. Like I always did, but now I have a real reason to. So anytime I hear it, I feel like my grandfather's like right here talking to me. So when you came up with this joint, I was like, yo, horns, what? Yeah, so yeah, I love that.
All right, that's what's up. Veg, what you got up next, bro?
All right. My next one, Jay-Z, You Don't Know. You want to talk about using horns to insinuate the dopeness or punctuate the dopeness of a track. Like it just builds and it's just dope. It's I think in a lot of the samples that I looked at as far as horns, it's either being used to lead the track or accent it in some way, which kind of what makes it dope, right? When you know how to use it properly. So yeah, I remember when I first heard that record. Again, same feeling I got when I heard Apollo Kids. It just sounds like a really big record. So yeah.
Tell me this: top 5 Just Blaze beat?
Definitely.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
All right. Top 3, Ro? Top 3. All right. What comes before this, Ro?
Oh,
PSA.
PSA. Come back to me. That's a good question.
But Kill, let me ask you a question.
Hmm?
Hey, and I could be totally wrong, but with PSA, wasn't that original like Buck Wild from
Buck Wild used that for
Word Life?
He used that for an interlude on Word Life.
Yeah.
Right. And then right before Jay dropped it, the Beat Miners used it for Black Moon Stay Real. Because the Beat Miners had an issue with Just Blaze around that joint. So, you know, Buck is kind of like the originator of it, and that's back in 94.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just to show you the kind of digging pedigree. But Veg, what do you have above You Don't Know from Just?
I don't know if I do, but if a close one would be Exhibit C.
Yeah.
When I heard that joint, I was like, yo, this beat is crazy. Same feeling too, like this monumental feeling where you know your bars got to be right. And I think in the case of Jay-Z and Jay Electronica, they both met the challenge. So
yeah, that's a dope pick right there. All right, no doubt. Tone, what you got up next for yours?
Man, I'm gonna go back. One of my guilty pleasures, man. It was this group of '92 called. It was Back to the Hotel by this In Too Deep. This West Coast beat. That home was off the hook, my nigga.
Yo, they was West Coast boys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo,
I used to like that
profile.
song on the low, bro. I used to like that song on the low.
Yo,
the lyrics was whack, but the song was dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hear that joint a lot out here, man.
Yeah.
Like me being on the West Coast, yeah.
The video was gangster, man. It was all right.
Yo, that's funny, man. That's some funny pick, man. But nah, you right on that. All right, Eddie, what you got up next?
I'm gonna go with Common Real People. You know,
Oh man,
produced by
Damn, good one.
Yeah. Now really dope sample, like, you know, got the kind of mellow but jazzy, like, you know, real smooth. Yeah, definitely dope. I mean, flawless album, like we've all talked about it, like 5 mic album right there, but
Eddie, man,
dope.
I probably played that joint off B outside of It's Your World. I might have played Real People like second most, man. I love that damn sample. That beat is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rel, what you got up next, bro?
I'm gonna go with Punks Jump Up to Get Beat Down.
That Diamond D remix.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I forgot that, John.
Yeah. I remember that song. That was one of my joints right there. Definitely. You know, answered the bell when, you know, people was doubting because Pooh was gone. Like that was one of their joints right there. Like where they answered the call. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that one.
And I think that's why I'm always like, there's really something behind it when you got something to prove. You know what I mean? Like, it just put that extra oomph in there, because that shit, man, Punks Jump Up to Get Beat Down, man, was just crazy, man.
Yeah.
The video was crazy when dude tried to go in Jamal's pocket. He hit him with the ninja joint, grab that nigga foot, flipped him over. I was like, these niggas doing doing gymnastic ninja shit out here on the streets, man. Like it was like, yo, you know, they ride up in the track and they jumping out, jumping the board at the end. You know what I mean? So definitely a good joint like that. All right, so we're gonna take a minute to salute Pete Rock. Eddie said it earlier. Pete is, you know, he came with the horns. For people out there who may not know, under my knowledge, Pete was the first one to use echoing horns, who I think everybody in hip hop, I don't know if there was producing hip hop who didn't echo the horns out like Pete did. What would you, I'll assume it's Troy. If it's not, say it. What do you think is one of Pete's best representations of horns, not named Troy? For me, I gotta probably go with, here's the thing. Mecca and Soul Brother is just, there's horns everywhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking like, it's like that, like I'm like that dun 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 dun, dun like that. Yeah. What happened?
Ain't straighten it out on that too?
Yeah, straighten it out. I mean, that was one of my joints too. Like straighten it out. Like yeah, like, but I think it's one of those things where again, like that's what I loved about that time, because when I heard straighten it out, I just was really starting to dig. And what I loved about Pete is that you thought that shit was all one song. I had no idea straighten it out was one sample, and then the, you know, with CL is rhyming over is a whole nother sample. Like, you know, same thing with Low End. You know, being in high school, I'm thinking, oh, this is just one sample, not knowing one is the Average White Band and another one is Minnie Riperton. Like, just pulling out them samples. So I just kind of, if I had to pick one, it would probably be Straighten It Out. I feel like all of Mecca and the Soul Brothers, a whole just horn extravaganza. Even when you take away the main sample from Troy, he still has so many beautiful horns in Troy. You know what I mean? So even if you take away the original, you still got that. JR, what would you say is a Pete staple for horns if you don't name Troy?
Oh God. What I already mentioned, Blue Funk for him. I'm gonna go shoot. You said Mecca and the Soul Brother, that whole thing. I love it's like that. Like just the way that the horns from the beginning to the end, it's just like Pete Rock knows how to use a horn and use it right. You know what I mean? And like Tone said earlier, it's just like it's so easy for people to make beats now. They not being creative with it. You know what I mean? And the way Pete Rock was so creative with using just like that, it's just so ill. And it's like it doesn't, the production and the horn doesn't overtake anything else. It fits, you know what I mean? So I think Pete Rock just knows how to use a sample and a horn and use it right. So he's my favorite when it comes to horn samples for real. So.
All right, Porsche, what about you?
Listen, again, you put these like blocks on Troy, but
you can talk about Troy. I said if you want you do Troy, you could do Troy.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to be said about Troy. I'll say, I mean, you mentioned it. Straighten It Out would be mine, but I'm also going to go with Pete Instrumentals 2. He has Play Yo Horn. And I mean, again, you guys touched on it and everyone's going to echo this, but Pete is the master at this usage. He knows exactly how to use it in all the different ways, and it never comes across aggressive. It's so complimentary to every single one of his beats that he creates, and I just, yeah, I mean, there's just so much to say that you almost don't know what to say, you know. But definitely Troy. I want to say I haven't mentioned Pete Rock as much because Kill won't let us mention Troy, but it is, no, you won't let us mention Troy. I just stayed away from Pete. But
you still got a million other Pete Rock songs that you can name besides Troy.
I know. You're right. But anyways, that one.
Vague, what about you?
I got The Creator. I mean,
I love that one.
That's all horns. As soon as it's off, it's the one that got my attention, to be honest. As soon as I heard that beat, and you know, this is a time where people dance like that, so it was just a very dope record. And the use of the horns is just it's all horns basically, so it's dope.
Right. Tone, what about you?
Well, you know, I already said Shut 'Em Down remix, as far as that's the one. But what about that Jamal Fade 'Em All remix by Pete Rock? Is that a horn in that, man? I can't tell if that's a horn.
my brain ain't working right now, bro. So I would have to literally go listen to it and listen.
I think that's a sample, a horn sample, of Jamal, the Fade 'Em All remix by Pete Rock, man. Somebody can.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit is crazy. Eddie, what about you?
I'll say I Gotta Love, man. That joint was crazy too, man.
It was.
On their second album.
Yeah,
man.
It's funny. The first time I heard I Gotta Love, I didn't like it. I think because I was like, where's Troy? Where's the next Troy? Like, this ain't a big enough single for me. But I've learned to, now I love this song, but I just think hearing it, like getting it in the mail and putting the needle on it, we was kind of like, okay, like, what's that? Like, what else you got, Pete? Like, you know, but now I love the song, but I think that was just the anticipation coming off of, you know, maybe not. Maybe I think In the House would have caught me, like if that was the first single. You know what I mean? Like that, just because when I throw on Main Ingredient and that comes on, it's like, okay, here we go. Like, let's go. And then in the Caramel City, it's like, there's just more energy to it than, you know, I Gotta Love. Like, to me, I felt like I Gotta Love was a B side, not really the A side or whatever like that. But, you know, still love the song to this day. It's crazy because you got a lot of people who, when they hear the sample, they think it's Jay Electronica. They like, you know, Shiny Suit Theory. You know, my man Tone, God, what was his name? He's a singer. I forgot his name, but he had a joint over there. I was like, yeah, I liked how you sung over that, the Pete Rock joint. He's like, what you talking about? I was like, the joint you did. He's like, oh, the Shiny Suit Theory joint. I'm like, nah, man, that's Pete Rock, man. That's Pete right there. But Ralph, what's your joint for Pete?
I was gonna say the Shut 'Em Down remix, but I got two sleepers. He had a joint by this artist named Adore. And it was called Let It All Hang Out.
Oh my god,
that was
crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. Actually, the same California Dreamin' joint that Gangstar that Primo used.
Yeah.
Crazy. And then he also remixed Jump Around for House of Pain, which so yeah. Pete,
man, so many joints I forgot about, man. Like, so many joints I forgot about. All right, let's get back to it. P, you still there, babe? All right.
Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
What you got up next?
Okay, I think this is one of my last ones. I have Booby Miles by
Boy, I don't even know what you're talking about. Anytime I tell you 5, you come with 28. So
I know that I've had 8. I've gone 8. Anyways, I'm going with Booby Miles by Big Crit. I don't mention Big Crit as much as I should. I do listen to Crit pretty often. And this is off his Forever and a Day album. Very dope use of horns. I like it. It's a little bit different usage than the other tracks that we've mentioned. It doesn't sound as smoothly integrated, but for some reason, the way Crit kind of raps on it and the production and everything just works so perfectly. And he sounds great, and his lyrics are almost accentuated by that. So it really stood out for me. So that one.
Question: what happened to Crit? There was like a time when like Crit's name was like being mentioned like top 5. Yeah. And it's like just slowly but surely his name you started hearing less and less and less of. I was never a big Crit boy like that, so that's why I'm asking. Does anybody kind of know like what happened? I know he got signed to Def Jam. Then something happened, like his shit was good. Then I think he got signed to a major, and then niggas didn't like the major release. Or Beg, what were you about to say?
I was gonna say Def Jam happened.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
He got signed to Def Jam. Those albums weren't the same. The minute he got off Def Jam, though, he ain't missed yet. Like,
back in his
that,
bag.
I mean, potentially he put out a dope double album.
Yeah.
The last album was fire. It was something they were trying to do with him in Def Jam that just did not work. So,
and Crit produces his own shit. Like all his best stuff is self-produced.
Yes.
Okay.
That Forever and a Day mixtape is a down south classic, my nigga.
It's
okay.
It's just Crit is he's a very unique and dope MC, and you're right, Kill. Like there was a time where Crit was mentioned all the time, like it was all over the place, and then it just wasn't really. So I did notice that.
And that's why I kind of like. What you gonna say, Eddie? You got
I was gonna say the other thing is like if you think of like with Kendrick and Cole and Drake, and maybe Drake is a little less in the spotlight than Kendrick and Drake, but Big Crit ain't really in the spotlight like that. Like he's more. I don't know if he's reclusive or whatever, but he don't be out there like that. So I think that's another thing. In this landscape, if you're going to be on their level and they ain't really seen you out there like that, you know, could definitely affect things.
I think it's
It's funny because so he's still putting out music like recently.
Yeah.
It's just funny because there's not a day that goes by that somebody on Twitter is not trying to tell me about something I'm not up on. So I literally have not heard this nigga's name in years. I've not heard anybody say anything about Big Crit. He don't make nobody album of the year list. When we do what's the top 5 albums so far at the mid-year point show, I ain't heard nobody ever say Crit. I have not heard Crit's name on this podcast ever. I've never heard it on Twitter. So I'm just shocked because I'm like, I didn't think the boy made music no more.
Man, you know something?
Because nobody mentions him.
Yeah, he had a joint came out like 2022 also, man. But you know what's messed up is Crit is for me, is a dope MC, dope producer, makes full projects, man. It's cohesive and everything, man. But he just kind of got lost in the mix, man. After that Def Jam. But he still do better he's better without the major.
So what did Def Jam do? Like was his albums like a different sound? Was they not letting him produce it? Was he trying to do commercial shit?
I think so. I don't know, because honestly,
really though,
new stuff sounds more. I mean, not his new stuff, but the stuff that he worked on outside of Def Jam just sounds more organic and true to him, as opposed to songs they might have tweaked so they're bigger records, you know, and they might have wanted certain. It's sort of like when, I'm just going to say anything, but you know you're using something incorrectly, but it works for you, and someone tells you, yo, that's not the way you actually use that, but you like, I don't really want to learn the real way because this works for me. And I feel like he had to get put in that box. It was tough for him. I don't know if anybody's mentioned it on here, but on Hip Hop Now podcast, we have talked about those albums. And I don't know if I had one in the top 5. I can't remember when they came out. But it's like you said, man, it's like that Def Jam thing really dampened his buzz. So right now it's just really fans that follow him that know.
Because that Def Jam joint was 2014. That's 10 years ago.
What's that?
Right.
The Def Jam Catalytic, I can't remember how to pronounce the album, but that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was watching this thing.
He had a crazy response to the Control verse. Remember the Control verse came out from Kendrick. They were waiting for all these people to respond. His response was one of the best to me. It was Mount Olympus. It was crazy. Like he snapped on that. You know what I'm saying? So
it's crazy because I was watching this thing on YouTube about rappers from that time period, that 2012, 2013. It was especially about the boy. Was his name Chad Elliott? Was that the nigga who got punched in the mouth by the girl?
That's Charles Hamilton.
Charles Hamilton. Right. And they were talking about like that crew, the Chance the Rappers, the Charles Hamiltons, the Big Chris. They were just talking about like all those MCs that was making the XXL cover and just like how some of them just like faded out or whatever, you know. So I didn't even know the boy was still making music. I'm gonna have to tap into some of his stuff. I forgot who just went. Who said Crit? Was that you, Tone, or Veg?
It was me.
It was Porsche. All right. Then it was my turn. I'll go with here's something, man. The Serious remix, the BDP remix with Steady B. I always loved them horns when it was like the dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. It sounded like some old bebop. Like it didn't sound like your regular horns, man. And to me, that Steady B Serious remix is one of my favorite remixes ever. Like that video was crazy. I don't know what KRS One was, what the fuck he did to make that he didn't use for his own shit, but that shit was crazy right there. So I definitely got the Serious joint. Gerald, what's another joint you got, bro?
Vibes and Stuff.
Ooh,
I tried.
Good one.
Yeah,
All right, it looks like the Sixers gonna pull this game out, man. Now I can relax some. Yeah, I can, kick back a little bit. Good.
But who did that? Was it Giant Green that did that? That did that?
Grant Green?
Yeah, Giant
I think so.
Green.
Grant Green.
Okay, yeah. Grant Green. That's right. Yeah, like. Dun, 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 dun. Like I love that record. Like I love that record. So
it's amazing to me how good Low End still sounds like in the system to this day. Like you put that, you still play that thing. It's just Bob Powers. You know what I mean?
Right. Like when I found out that they got it to the Hall of Fame, that was what I went to. I was like, let me play Low End at midnight. It was just like, and it sounds so good, yo, both of them. So it's just like how timeless they both are, but the way Tip uses horns and the samples and stuff, so Vibes and Stuff was a favorite of mine. So
all right, Veg, what you got, man? Oh man, I just feel like a weight was lifted. I feel so much better now, y'all. What's going on, man? Shit, y'all good now? I don't know, y'all two niggas looking at y'all still up 2-1. I mean, I ain't talking shit. I'm just relaxed.
Well, you are talking shit. I'm just saying I'm relaxed.
Listen,
this whole time until he saw it.
Listen.
If your team was about to go down 3-1, you may not even be on the show. Fucking give me some credit for being able to host the show.
Go ahead.
Give me credit for being able to host the show while I can watch the game. I just gotta look at the score on my phone.
I think Mitchell Robinson got injured. That's why I'm kind of.
That's all I said. He talking about I'm talking shit.
Trash, bro. Down
all I had to say is a weight lifted off my shoulders, man.
You weren't even here. Kill was quiet as hell this whole time until he knew we were losing and all that. You see, he was nervous. He just came out of his shell just now.
Bro, all I said was it's a weight lifted off my shoulder. How y'all doing?
Hey, let me tell you something. Hold on. Let me y'all Knicks fan, y'all out of control. See, y'all wild. We got to chill.
That's not talking shit. Trust me, if we win this series, you gonna know we're talking shit.
All right.
Me saying how y'all feeling.
Here's the thing.
It wasn't a shot at y'all two. I was just like, hey, I'm happy now.
Here's the thing. And I understand y'all had your injuries this season, but the Knicks have had injuries too. But the thing is, and I'm gonna say it on camera, like, stop acting like the Knicks ain't the number 2 seed in the East. Like, there's a reason why the Knicks are the number 2 seed in the East. I gotta object.
You know what I'm saying? Which one you want? You want to go first, Ron, or you want me to go?
We had where's Julius Randle? Where's Julius Randle?
Y'all act
Julius
like y'all
Randle
not
even playing, bro.
Listen. Y'all act like y'all not the number 2. Y'all want to have this underdog mentality.
Where's this going, man?
Y'all gotta pick a side. You can't be the number 2, but we the underdog, and then with your fucking is gonna be like, well, we didn't have Julius Randle. I've heard y'all Knicks shit for over 20 years. Y'all have every pocket that y'all want to try to ride in. Y'all do. Like, let's keep it a buck.
Listen.
Let's keep it a buck.
1
minute y'all underdog.
We the number 2.
I was on the timeline when Julius Randle got hurt. I saw everybody on the timeline like season over, from fucking Pete Rock to Stephen A. Everybody. Now, maybe y'all two, and y'all two wasn't, but the rest of fucking New York City and all 5 boroughs was like, oh, well, there go the fucking playoffs. And y'all can't say y'all didn't see that shit. Y'all know y'all saw that shit. No, JR, you did not see nobody. Exactly. I didn't say y'all two said it. I didn't say y'all two, but y'all saw how all of New York City was like, well, there go the playoffs.
Nah, I didn't think that. I saw that.
No, I didn't say you. I didn't say you. We talking about two different things. I said that y'all saw that. You saw that, right, Eddie?
Right. And I was going back.
Okay. Listen. I would be lying if I said I thought we would be the number 2 seed after Julius Randle got injured. I still thought we were going to make the playoffs, maybe 4 or 5 seed. But to be the number 2 seed without Julius Randle just shows how good our team is. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Can I throw asterisks on that? We do know Giannis has been hurt, right?
So
if Giannis was hurt, I don't know if y'all the number 2 seed. Here's the thing. I think y'all are playing great. This is no diss to y'all at all. I think you're playing great. You're not hearing somebody say, y'all suck, y'all are whack, y'all can't win shit. I haven't said none of that shit.
No.
All I said was, damn, it's a weight lifted off my shoulder, JR. Like, yo, y'all talking shit now. Nigga, I just said I'm relaxed.
Here's the thing,
You
too, man.
did.
The whole time, yo. Everybody go back and watch the beginning of this show. And we started.
I was quiet because I was nervous.
Aaron was on mute the whole time, dog.
Vegas, have you ever been nervous in a game?
And then as soon as he realized we winning, oh, I'm good now. All right, let's talk now. We good. Like, come on, dog. Like, don't act like you want like that.
JR, here's the thing, and this is what goes wrong on Twitter. We're talking about two totally different things. I'm not talking shit. I just said I'm relaxed now. Somebody on Twitter was telling me that Primo is not on Kanye West's level as a producer. So that was the first comment. Then he said I had that video of when Swiss is hitting that button and Cassidy is losing his shit and Busta is bumping into him. So then the dude said something about Swiss. Then he said something about the new Nas and Premiere single. And I'm like, bro, you're talking about three totally separate things. Like, nigga, the first thing you said was Primo isn't as good as Kanye, which I'm like, you're bugging about. Now, how do you mix that in with something about Swiss Beats and then mix that into the only reason why you niggas think Primo is better than Ye is because of the nostalgia? Listen to the new Nas single. Nick, those are three totally different things. Everybody, JR, Eddie, I was not talking shit. I was just happy we won. I didn't want to go down 3-0.
I didn't think.
That's all.
No, trust me.
Y'all
I didn't
very
think,
good team. Like I said,
I didn't take that as talking shit. I didn't take that as talking shit. You know what I'm saying?
And I get it, y'all.
I did not.
But here's the thing. You know what? Y'all have been in basketball purgatory for years. Talk y'all shit. Talk it. Y'all deserve it. Y'all deserve it. I'm not. Am I saying, yo, ASR said one thing?
Hold on.
I'm not even being a smart ass. I'm saying, I'm saying, like, y'all deserve it. Talk it.
Y'all gotta understand the messenger. Like, Sixers fans, yo, saying y'all been in purgatory, we've been there too. Like, we been fucked up for a long time. We understand, bro.
We
like,
ain't been a championship in 51 years. We've been worse than y'all. Like, nah, dog.
I was saying 83.
It's all good.
It's 73, dog.
It's all good. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. I'm sorry. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. I don't even know who we left off on with. Let's just go. All right. I think it was probably. All right, Vague, give me a horn sample, man. Bring us back. Vague, like, fuck all y'all niggas, man. I don't care about nothing.
No, since we talk about receipts, I remember how this podcast began. So Kill did say, I hope we just win this game. So for him being relieved, I'm saying it's on brand for what he said in the beginning.
That's why I didn't take it as trash talk. I personally didn't.
Right.
Yo, this is what I'm talking about. This is my man who's a Knicks fan. Look at this fucking letter this nigga just wrote.
Oh, no.
This nigga just wrote me a letter. Like, nigga. Like,
is that Stephen A. Smith?
Hey, pause. Get the guys back focused.
Yeah, get focused.
I'm just sitting here listening to this argue. I love when you guys argue about sports.
Give me a horn sample, Vague. What you got?
All right. MOP. Annie Up.
Nice.
How the fuck did I not pick that?
Again, one of them records that just sound big. The horns kind of anchor the whole track. MOP does, they do what they do on that joint. For a second, I didn't even think about that record until I guess I was listening to something. I was like, oh yeah, it's major horns in Annie Up. So, and that was DR period.
DR, yeah. It's funny because for years people thought Creed did that shit, but it was definitely DR.
Oh,
I always say it's so ironic that your biggest song is about robbing niggas. You know what I mean? And it always goes back to what I always tell people: just make good music, because they really thought that joint with the Rocky sample and Jay-Z was gonna be the song. It's like, okay, we got the sample everybody knows. We got Jay-Z on this shit. 4 Alarm Blaze is gonna be it. That shit did nothing. Like, I don't even know if that even makes the best MOP mixtape sometimes. But then you just do a song about robbing niggas and his Flex is dropping bombs on it. Wrestlers are using it. Like, Annie Up is just forever. What you gonna say, back?
Who did Annie Up again? I'm sorry.
DR period.
Period.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Well, I like 4 Alarm Blaze. I like the lyrics. I think the beat is fine, but I think they were chasing a trend of like,
Right.
I know Cam did this a lot, you know, having these really familiar samples that you just did a record off of, and it just didn't work because that's just not MOP. That was more Jay-Z and maybe State Prop on that joint with him.
Right.
I could see it, but it just didn't feel like MOP. But when we heard Annie Up, it was like, okay, this is getting back to how about some hardcore style. So
Right. All right, Tone, what you got up next, bro?
I'm gonna go with the Ruler's Back, man. Slick Rick, the Ruler.
That was good one. Good one, Tom. Good one. Man, that was
The Ruler,
Man.
classic.
classic.
Great thing is, man, like, when I think of Rick, when I think of DOC, is always like, yo, what would have happened?
Yeah,
Like, what would hip hop look like if Rick ain't get locked up, man? You know what I mean? And he was just free to make music the way he wanted to, and then after getting out of jail, then getting deported, and just dealing with all that hoopla. Like, what Slick Rick would we have gotten if none of that stuff happened? Man?
and you know what, Kill? Even with all that stuff, man, the Art of Storytelling was a pretty dope album, man.
I'm the only nigga who liked the second album. I'm good with the second
Behind
album.
Bars?
No, not Behind Bars. The joint with I Shouldn't Have Done It and It's a Boy.
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
Ruler's
what's the
Back.
name of that album?
That was the Rulers Back. Yeah. I'm not mad at that album.
Yeah, it had
You
some
know?
jokes on it.
Yeah, but yeah, man, Slick Rick. Eddie, what you got up?
Oh, man, I got like 2 joints from the same artist, but I'll go with Chief Rocker by Lords of the Underground, man. And once I say that, you know the other joint too, like, but
Funky
yeah,
Child.
that joint's just a damn.
That Funky Child horn, man.
Too. Yeah, man, both of them joints.
Ooh, those are some
You know,
dope joints.
I feel like, you know, both of them they use it in different ways. Like, that's a creativity, right? You have 2 joints with horn samples, but utilize it in different ways, right? Because with
Right.
Chief Rock, you got the stabs throughout. Funky Child is like more sparingly, but kind of more prominent too in the way it's used. Like, they just kind of let it ride, and yeah, man.
Yeah, that's dope. Rel, what you got up?
I'm gonna go with I Like the Way You Move. Outkast. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that joint. My mom's favorite song of that album for some reason, but yeah, I'm gonna go with that one. Instrumentation on it, crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy. I wonder with Cass, just because they use live musicians a lot. Like, I feel like they come from that funk world where you just always have horns. Like, you know what I mean? Like, which, you know, so I think that's one of the reasons why that we always get that from that. P, you got anything else left?
No.
One of the rare time? No.
No.
I don't know if I've ever seen you run out of cards, Porsche.
I know.
Like, this is the first time.
The script. I was already not allowed to say Troy, so you know how it is.
All right, I'm gonna go with a Gangstar X Girl to the Next Girl. That was my shit when that thing came out,
Oh,
man. That was my joint back then, man. I just used to love Guru's girl storytelling joints, man. Like, dude just always kept it's like he always had a storytelling joint about a girl. He kept that right there next to him. And another joint I got, Rubber Without a Pause, PE. Like, I remember the first time I heard that, I thought that was a tea kettle. I ain't know nothing about the JBs and none of that stuff. I thought these niggas just left the tea kettle on the stove and sampled that for that Rebel Without a Pause joint. So, yo.
It's X to the Next, that Daily Operation.
Yeah.
That whole album was jazzy, man.
Yeah. That's why I was saying, like, that was like during that jazzy joint. Like, even if you hear the original Represent that he did for Nas, it was real jazzy. It had the whole jazz bass line in it. And that's what I mean by, like, that would, to me, that wouldn't have even felt right on Illmatic. Like, it just would have felt out of place.
No, that one wouldn't have.
Yeah, that would have felt out of place. And Preem said after he heard, I think Pete's The World Is Yours, he went back and redid the Represent because he was still like in the daily operation bag. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean by a lot of producers couldn't make that jump to that next bag because it was like, you listen to that Represent, the original joint, and then the one you got, it's like night and day from each other.
That first one was not a fit on Illmatic.
Right, but to me, it's like almost a testament of like Nas being like, nigga, I'll rhyme over whatever you give me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if I would have picked that beat. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't go with it. Even with the people, with the niggas yelling, representing the background over a jazz bass line, like that shit don't even mesh well together, man.
They picked the right one for the final version.
Yeah, did y'all hear the joint, the original Memory Lane joint?
Memory Lane, yeah.
Yo,
crazy.
That shit hard, man. Yeah, that shit hard, man. Yeah, that shit crazy. I don't even know who I left off with. Vague or JR? JR, did you go yet? What you got?
I got Nas's like. Is that horns or is that?
It's more so strings.
That's why I wanted to ask because I wasn't too sure.
The main thing I forgot the samples, like some shit, like one of them niggas who be flying on magic carpets. It's from like that movie, like not Aladdin, but one of them fucking flying on magic carpet movies. So I think it's strings, but but you know, give me something else you got.
Shit, a lot of mine was used. I was gonna say Mass Appeal. Is that a horn in there?
Nah, I don't know what Mass Appeal is. That's like I don't know what instrument.
See, these are the two that I wanted to ask because that's what the two that I was like, I didn't know if it was horns or not. So
yeah, nah, I don't think Mass Appeal.
Okay.
You got anything else left?
Yeah, that's it. I'm out. All
right, Vague, what you got left? You got a lot left, or you only got a few left?
I got a couple.
All right, cool. What you got next?
All right, you want me to say them all?
No. Since you got more left, I know I can still come back to you. So
okay. We're gonna keep it in Brooklyn. Got Kick in the Door. Biggie. You know what I'm saying? Like, just you wonder why that sample wasn't used before then, or at least I hadn't heard it before then.
Right.
I know the original record, but it just fit perfectly with Big's persona and the Kick in the Door vibe and everything. So as soon as I heard it, like Premier did his thing on that track. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's funny because I heard that Puff didn't like it.
Word?
Yeah, that he was like, nah, we need another tunnel banger. Like, this ain't it. This ain't it.
That is probably a song. It'd be a tunnel banger in a different way because that's like an Annie Up kind of feel. Right.
Yeah, but I want to say, like, Google it, but I want to say, like, Puff had told Premier, like, nah, this ain't it. And Premier was like, nah, man, this trust me, like, this it right here. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be crazy when a nigga like Puff tries to tell you that this ain't it. Like, bro, you bugging? Like, you know what you come to me for, right, my nigga? Like, you don't come to me for the radio singles. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
You do know, like,
you probably wanted another Unbelievable, which did play in the clubs. As much as it was like a hip hop joint, it did play in the clubs, but I heard Kick in the Door in the club too. I heard the whole damn album in the club. So
yeah.
Nah, I feel you. So, what you got up next?
I got like 2 or 3 real quick, man. Got Crack Music off Late Registration with Kanye. You know what I'm saying? I got Tupac Shorter Wanna Be a Thug. Got a nice little horn in that joint. Then I got Ebonics, Big L.
God, yeah. That shit was crazy, man.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy right there. Yeah, man. That the first time I heard that, I was like, yo. Like, I remember being like, yo, this is what I wanted from that first album, my nigga. Like, this is that that energy I wanted from that richer lifestyles of the poor and dangerous or whatever. I'm like, this is what I wanted from that album, my nigga. Not that put it on, Big L put me on, like, yeah. But Eddie, you got a lot left, or you?
I got like 5, but I could cut it down to like 3.
No. Take your time. I just wanted to know who to come back to. So you could just give me one if you still got joints left.
Yeah. Let me give you 2 right now, and you could come back. So I got 93 Till Infinity, Souls of Mischief. You know what I'm saying? Like classic. And this is the thing, yo. It's like I feel like there's a lot of joints that being mentioned that were like, damn, how did I think? But there's just so many iconic horn samples, man, that bro, we could do this all day. And then the next one I will say is Push by Pharoah Monch. Title track.
That's on Desire.
No, not title track. It was the first single on Desire.
Yeah.
Right.
He was mostly singing over that joint too. Yeah.
He was slick over that joint.
Yo, JR, I know JR would know what that sample is.
No.
That horn sample on Push.
Mm-mm.
Damn. It sounds familiar, but I can't place it. So.
All right, bro. You got any more left, bro?
Yep. I got a couple. Should I do all of them or just do one?
Nah, just do like 2 or 3.
Okay. I got Kick Push. Lupe Fiasco.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. One of my favorite. I know he's not that popular on this podcast, but I mess with Lupe heavy.
I mean, don't say it like that. You say it like we be shitting on Lupe. I love the first album. He kind of fell off for me after that. But we got love for Lupe.
Like, you know,
Pharrell produced. No, Pharrell, I'm bugging. Produced that. I forgot who produced Kick Push.
Who produced Kick Push?
Oh no.
Oh, good question.
I forgot. I'll look it up. Yeah, nigga, I'm being in Chicago next week, man. I got nothing but love for Lupe out there, man. I don't want no smoke in Chicago.
I got Lucchini, Camp Low, classic, and I got a recent John. I got Thoey's Revenge, Benny the Butcher. Got a crazy horn sample on that. So those are my 3.
Kick Push was produced by Soundtrack. Yeah, Soundtrack. All right, I got Still Digging by Showbiz and AG. In fact, I feel like Runaway Slave, that whole album is just the whole album is just Silence of the Lambs, 40 Acres in My Props, Still Digging. Just I remember popping that shit in freshman year at Morgan and Still Digging coming on that like that whole joint was crazy. I got Black Moons, Got You Open, the original joint, not the remix, the original. Have You Any Pull by Black Sheep, Some Lag Child, the remix by Black Sheep.
Black Child.
Yeah, the remix joint joint with the black and white video.
Damn.
Step to Me, Diamond D. Don't Sweat the Technique, Eric B and Rakim. Step in the Arena, Gangstar. Who's Gonna Take the Weight, Gangstar.
Oh my goodness.
Truthfully, Heavy D. One of my favorite Heavy D songs. Truthful. Tony Dofat killed that shit.
Great song.
Dance For Me and Inside Out by Queen Latifah. So that's what I had left, man. But like I said, I feel like that whole Showbiz and AG album, that 89 Step in the Arena, Gangstar, I mean, like that was just horns. You just was either using the horns, Premier scratching the horns, just horns was everywhere back in the day. Vay, what you got left up, man?
All right, I got
Oh, I'm sorry, Porch, you gotta get ready to go, right?
Sorry, one thing. I just wanted to make a comment about Don't Sweat the Technique. When you listen to that song, I feel like the horns, I love that you mentioned it, Kill, because I feel like the horns in that song almost act like the chorus of the song. And
they basically are.
That's the horns.
They are, yeah.
As soon as Rakim says Don't Sweat the Technique, then the horns get introduced, and it's always there consistently. So I do love the placement of that horn, and I do love the mention. So I just wanted to add that. Sorry.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And we apologize for all the white women in the videos too, for all my sisters out there. I apologize for the guy having all the white women in the videos. What are you saying, Tom?
Hey, Porsche, is that People Instinctive? Is that the album behind you?
Yes, correct. It's the vinyl.
Oh, okay. All right.
People on Twitter don't have any vinyls, and they're wrong. So
that's dope. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you ever pick up a record player, Porsche?
Sorry?
Did you ever pick up a record player?
I did. Yeah, it's right here behind me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Can we see it?
Yeah. Porsche ain't playing.
You can.
I told you, man.
But the thing is I don't really, like you guys know, I don't open vinyls. So this one was given to me by one of my coworkers. She was like, "Hey, I have this vinyl." I was like, "Oh my god, I'll take it." So it's already been open. So I listened to this, and I have Thriller that's open and other ones, but like Critical Beatdown, It Was Written, Illmatic. All the other ones I have, they're untouched, unopened, anything. So anyways,
that's what's up.
No doubt, no doubt. I'll tell you, my co-host is the flyest, man. Vay, what else you got left, bro?
I got Kanye West, Touch the Sky.
Mm-hmm.
I love Fire, so that's a dope sample. Mobb Deep, Put Them in Their Place. I always loved that joint with the horns from when they were on G Unit. I think the Blood Money album, something like that. Cameron and Dipset, I Really Mean It.
Oh man.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, that's a hard.
Club bangers, my God.
Yeah,
that Dipset anthem back to back, crazy. Kendrick Lamar, Rigor Mortis off the Section joint.
Section 80, yeah.
You know, it's already a dope beat, and then the way he's spitting over it just makes it even better because it's sort of like
he killed that shit.
In the pocket with it, but it's not a predictable flow. So, and the last one I got Wu-Tang, Shame on a Nigga. You know, it start with the horns, and you're like, yo, this shit crazy. To your point, released the same day as Midnight Marauders, so even though it didn't have a jazzy feel, it's still, the horns. So, that was it.
That's dope. That's dope. And Eddie, you got a couple more left?
Yeah. So I'm gonna do Cold Blooded and Doing It by Common off a lot like Water for Chocolate. Dilla in his bag, man. For sure. Yeah. I got Stay by Nas. That was off of that Life is Good album.
Oh my god, that's one of my favorite songs on the album.
Yeah.
Beautiful track.
Very beautiful track. And then Now You're Mine by Gangstar.
Yeah. There was some dope pulls. What you got,
one more. I got the song that they say on Twitter that us Philly niggas slow dance to. I got Feel It in the Air.
Feel It in the Air.
Feel It in the Air. Beanie Siegel, produced by Heavy D. Rest in peace, Heavy D.
I love that.
Hey, Rail, man. When I first heard Feel in the Air, that's when I always thought Siegel was dope. But that's when I was like, you know what? He's one of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Different level. Different level.
He's
different
young
level.
Scarface, you know what I mean, in terms of that.
Exactly.
That feeling,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And the video just took it over the edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
right, y'all. Now, what'd you say, Pink?
Oh, I just said that's a top 5 hip hop song of all time, ever. Period. Hands down.
I ain't mad at you.
I ain't mad at you.
All right, cool. I want to ask this because Vague and Porce was with me last week. It's kind of going the rounds on Twitter about hip hop statues. JR, who is an artist, R&B or hip hop? I'm sure you'll say Mary, and I'm sure you'll say Yonkers. Who would you want to get a statue of, and where are we putting it?
Yeah, that's tough.
Or are you doing SWV in the Bronx somewhere?
Nah. Shit, come back to me. It's our thing.
Right. So, what about you? An MC who deserves a statue, and where do you want the statue?
Damn, man. I mean, the easy one is Nas and Queensbridge, but that's an easy one. But I mean, Outkast in Atlanta, man, downtown Atlanta, somewhere about Underground or something. She put Outkast down there, bro. And I saw your tweet, Kill, not just them, Andre, Big Boy beside him. There's no Outkast without Big Boy. People gotta stop this on Twitter. They be pissing me off, man, with this Big Boy shit. Outkast, both of them.
Yeah.
Atlanta, downtown.
For people watching, somebody on Twitter said, he named 3 people and one of them was 3,000. I'm like, so just forget about the other nigga. Like, it's just, you just gonna do a joint of 3,000. And somebody replied, well, Scottie Pippen was nice, but only Mike got the statue. I'm like, nigga, that's a teammate and a group. That's 2 totally different fucking things. Like,
hey, it's Rocky from Long Island.
Yeah.
Well, they need to put the God up at statue up too.
Yeah. All right, Eddie, what you thinking?
This is going to be a little not unexpected, but yo, man, I would like to see a Sean Price statue just because he's passed. I feel like he had like such an impact, but yo, get the cat that's been doing like them little statues. You know what I'm saying? What's the cat that you buy them statues from? Like get
Scartosia.
Yeah, get him to design because he got one of Sean Price that I feel like if they made like a big one in Brownsville, that'd be sick. That should be crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. And Rel, what about you?
Chris in the South Bronx.
All right. Ain't mad at that. Now, there's no way that I could let all my friends and fellow hip hop brethren go without talking about this last Drake diss using AI with Pac and Snoop. What did you all? I don't even need to ask Porsche. We already know what she thought. That's a wrap. I will give you the stage if you just want to talk shit about Aubrey, which is fine. But JR, what did you think about that? Because I really honestly think Drake thought this was like the death blow. Like, yo, I'm a fucking rap like Pac and Snoop. And they his heroes, and I'ma flip it to where they like questioning why he won't answer, and the world is gonna love it. And I don't think Drake kind of understood the bigger room. I think he understood his room of Drake's followers who will like anything he does, but not the bigger room of hip hop. Because from what I saw, it was like, yo, that shit whack as fuck. And here's the crazy part: I thought the beat was dope, and I even thought his rhyme at the end was dope, but. Why be Pac and Snoop? But JR, what did you think about that?
I agree with the same thing. I thought it was weak to me using that and that AI shit. That shit is terrible. Like I wasn't here for it, to be honest. So it turned me completely off. So I was like, whatever with it, for real.
Porsche, you want 30 seconds to talk shit about Aubrey?
I'm gonna try and control my, my outburst, but I'm just amazed that. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. What worries me is that everyone is gonna forget. And I don't want people to forget that this is the level of corny that this guy reached. Do you know what I mean? Like, my concern is that, I don't know if you guys saw this. I'm sure you did. I've been retweeting it, posting it on my stories. I've been going so loud about this. But Tupac's estate is suing. Or threatening to sue. And I guess what the first step is that they outlined was to send a cease and desist letter so that he pulls that or removes it from streaming or being in the public. Now, why that's good and both bad is because on the one hand, I hope that this humbles Drake a little bit. And I feel like he thinks that he sits on this pedestal and he's above everything, and that because he's Drake, that people are just going to let it rock. And I like that he's meeting this type of backlash. That's number one. The flip side, I'm concerned that when and if he pulls that verse, then people are going to forget. And I don't want people to forget because I think that this dude is God levels of corny and loser. Like, this guy is a real life loser. And I just feel like nobody has acknowledged this. And no matter what he does, people are like, oh, this was corny, this was whack. And then he puts out something else, and then everyone has his like whole entire nutsack in their throats and they're guzzling him. Like I just won't.
God damn!
I
I don't know if I've ever heard you talk like this. Yeah, like I've known you for 14 years, and I don't know if you've ever talked like this.
You can edit that out. Put a beep in there.
No. Keep it in there. Keep it in there. Okay. I think the hard part about that, P, is that so much now is just about money. So as long as you're rich, you can't be corny. Like Kevin Hart. If I see this goddamn commercial with him dancing, it's just like a constant reminder. And people are like, but he's rich. And I'm like, but it doesn't matter if you're rich. At some time of point, it's like, my nigga, like, what do the script say? Kevin act dumb? Okay, now Kevin acts dumber. Now Kevin acts even dumber. Like, nigga. So I'm with you, but I think today's society, the crowd is, as long as you're rich, you're fine. What did Chris Rock say? Money will turn a bald spot into a park. So as long as Drake is paid, he will never get any slander.
People need to stop being enamored by somebody else's net worth. This is like the weirdest behavior that I've ever witnessed in humanity, is that people are literally enamored by somebody else's wealth. And I get it. I get that it's like a goal, or it's jealousy, envy, it's all of these things. We have like a brain, and we have cognitive function, and cognitive function needs to kick in at some point to let us know that this is weird behavior. Like, it's not normal to be adults and be enamored by this bozo who just is on this rampage. I don't know. Anyways, that's I
feel you. Veg, what about you, good brother?
Yeah, I thought it was corny. I didn't even get to his verse because I turned it off because I thought it was just some bullshit to, for one, just Tupac aside, I thought it was kind of disrespectful considering this man was murdered. And, you know, even though it wasn't directly connected to a rap beef, that's just the overwhelming thought when people think about Tupac and Biggie. So it was just done in poor taste. To me, the Snoop thing was corny also. I would have rather he address that in some kind of scheme in his bars about them being disappointed than using AI, because now he done lined himself up for whatever Kendrick's working on. And anytime BBL Drake is trending, you already lost, man. Like you lost because fuck the rhymes. That is the funniest thing ever.
I was about to say that, bro. I don't care nothing about any of these beefs, but that BBL Drizzy is the funniest shit to come out of that.
Yeah. And it's funny because I didn't want Ross to get involved because I knew it was going to turn into who got more money. And that's what he eventually started doing. It was like, look at your house. Well, look at my house. And look at what I brought. And look at what you brought. It's like, come on, y'all. This don't got shit to do with the bars. Tone, what did you think, man?
Man, you know, I said the other day on Twitter that AI needs to disappear from music. I hate the shit. There's nothing cool about it. But if anyone, I would be like, or any MCs, I would be okay with maybe helping them. Some will be the DOC and Benny Siegel because they lost their voice and they dope MCs, and we know what it would be if they had their voices. So for them, if they needed some,
but again, that like you're saying is you can use your voice. Like that's the rule. You can use AI for you, but you can't use AI to be somebody else.
No, not at all. And the Drake shit, first of all, I thought it was terrible. Now the beat was good, nigga. You should have just rapped your own voice over that beat, and then it would have been fine. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I didn't like it. It was in poor taste. To me, I thought it was corny. I listened to it one time, and it was like cringe-worthy, just like watching Kevin Hart commercials. Cringe-worthy, Bojangles fucking buck dancing. I can't stand none of that corny shit, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I look at it.
What commercial is this?
The goddamn gambling commercial. What is it? Where he like doing the NBA, he like dancing off the NBA theme, and then it's like everything Kevin do, everything. I'm like, yo, I get it. His wife is paid and everybody's rich, but do she just ever be like, yo, like nigga, just stop. Like we don't gotta keep doing this, nigga. Like the money is good. We good, nigga. We don't need another gambling commercial with you acting stupid, man. We good.
Nigga got hundreds of millions of dollars and still fucking cool.
Well, here's the thing. Maybe he doesn't. Here's the thing. I always never, maybe he do, some money, some of these lawsuits, some of these girls he supposedly get pregnant on the side. So maybe he got to do the coon and shit. Who knows? Who knows?
It was funny, like, because I read that Black Thought book. Black Thought said in his book that cats in Philly never thought Kevin Hart was funny, and I died.
Well, here's the funny thing. I was a big Kevin Hart fan in the beginning. I liked him in the beginning, like Little Big Man and Paper Soldiers. Like he was funny in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then somehow he got typecasted into this dumb role, like, and then just all the movies like Ice Cube is slapping him. Yeah, The Rock is slapping him and throwing him out the window, and just it's like, nigga, this is your production company now. Like, I get you gotta do what you gotta do to get on that school, but now you're writing the script saying Kevin gets thrown out the window. Nah, fuck that nigga. At this point, I'm throwing niggas out the window. Like, whatever. But neither here nor there. Eddie, what about you? The Drake joint. What do you think of?
Like, I'm with. I forgot who said. I think Vegas, the one who said like he didn't really listen to it. Like, I couldn't really listen to it, but I did come across something interesting. I think I shared it with some of y'all. This producer, the Miza, I don't know how you pronounce his name. Like, he had an interesting theory. He was talking about how Drake just signed like renegotiated his contract for a large amount, right? And whether you love Drake, hate Drake, right? You got, like, he's one of the biggest artists. Now it's interesting. He just did this contract renegotiation. Now he's using AI. And what's like the biggest thing in music is the debate of using AI. Now you get the biggest artists using AI in that way. It was just weird, right? It's just a weird thing. Because like you said, Kill, Drake didn't need to do that for a diss track. Like, why? Like, what was the point of it? So
when you're saying renegotiating his contract, with who? With the label?
With the label, yeah.
Oh, he's still on Young Money?
I guess.
Damn, I thought this dude has dropped like 50 fucking million albums. I thought he would have. What did he sign with Wayne for? Like a 30 album deal or something?
I don't know, man.
I thought Drake
all the details, but yeah.
I'm sure Birdman did that.
I'm sitting here like I thought this dude was independent by now. Like this dude's still on a label, like on Young Money.
And some kind of joint picture or something.
Hey, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say one other point with the AI thing. Right now they're trying to get a bill passed to prevent the usage of singers and rappers and artists' voices. So it was bad timing also. Like where you like there's dudes who got full albums with your voice in it. So you cool with that? Like
that was gonna be my other point, because Drake was against this whole AI thing, because I literally have an album downloaded that somebody else did using Drake's voice. That is a dope ass album. You know what I mean?
Right.
Dead ass. Like the album is good as shit. Like it was like Drake in The Weeknd, and the album is actually good, and it's not them. And Drake was talking about how OAI is whack, and then I'm like, so then you gonna just go use it or whatever? And I think the thing with that is that would be dope. But somebody asked me on Twitter, but did he actually release it? Like he just posted it on his IG. So it's like, does that mean it can't get sued because it's not like on Apple? Like it's like where can you now be sued at? Because this is kind of like almost like a mixtape. If this was back in the 90s, like, okay, Premier used whatever sample that didn't get cleared, but he used it on a mixtape. So, it's kind of like, that's kind of like off brand. Because like somebody's like, well, he didn't put it up on streaming services. So that may be where we're going, where it's like, if you put it up on a streaming service, then you can be sued. But if you just like let it go as just a Lucy on your IG page, then you can't be sued. What you gonna say, man?
People are like defamation wise, but
yeah.
No, you can't do that either because it's a platform. He don't own IG. It's the same reason why people lost their, accounts posting music and stuff like that. Like Tupac himself is copyrighted, so you can't.
Right.
You can do that. It's because it's Drake, and they only threatened him, as a means to just get him to stop. But
I'm just glad they did it just to show him, nigga, that shit wasn't cool. Like that. Like I didn't think he was gonna get sued. It just was like I'm just glad the estate stepped out because I'm like it's wrong in two different realms. Like one, Pac is dead, and two, Snoop is still alive. Like my nigga, like how are you gonna rhyme like somebody who is alive? Like did Snoop tell you could use his voice? Like so it's disrespectful on two totally different counts. One because one nigga is dead, one because the other nigga's still alive. So like, I just can't pop up tomorrow hosting a podcast sounding like Vegas. Like I can't do that. Like you just can't do that shit, But Eddie, what you saying? It was defamation of character?
Yeah. Like I wonder if like part of it. Yeah, I mean, you got the copyright stuff. I don't know how far they, but you know what I'm saying? Like yeah, like it could be a defamation of character. Like even like if it's just like a cease and desist, whatever. But I don't know the terms of the lawsuit. But like if Tupac has an estate, right? He's been passed, right? Yeah, like why are you using his voice? It's his likeness because it's his voice likeness, right? So
right,
yeah. I mean, and I think this is going to perpetuate the whole like this law being passed, right? This part would be entered in evidence, if anything, for that whole thing.
Well, hopefully they do because this shit is whack. Like we don't need to be borrowing people. I don't need a new Biggie and Vague featuring Biggie, produced by me. Like we don't need that. Like nah. Like please let the people who have passed on allow them to. And then the worst part to me was you ain't even do a Black Thought where like you rhyme like the person. Like when Thought did that whole thing of imitating people's voices, but then he rhymed like them. To me, that was the talent behind it. Not only that you could sound like them, but then you could actually mimic their style where this is just Pac and Snoop rapping like Drake. Like you didn't even take it there to say, okay, well, let me rap it in a Snoop way or rap it in a Pac way. You just rapping, you got them rapping like you, nigga. Like, so across the board, it was whack.
Fonte did that joint too on the listening. Fonte did it on the listening too.
Okay.
The So Fabulous joint where he was where they were rapping like Coogee Rap, and I think rapper Big Pooh started rapping like Slick Rick at one point.
Okay. Yeah. So to me, that would have been the skill, but either which way, it was horrible. Porsche, let them know where they can get at you, sis.
On Twitter at Shayla Porsche, and if you come at me with anything Drake related, I will block you. Period. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't have space for guzzlers on my TL whatsoever. That is zero tolerance.
I don't know if I've ever heard that word come out of your mouth.
I have heard it. It is serious over here. It is that serious. I can hear easy in my ear being like, Porsche, it's not that serious. It is that serious.
Right. I feel you. I feel the same way, Porsche. At 50, I don't have the time. I'm just blocking niggas. Fuck all y'all niggas. Dick suckers. Get the fuck away from me. Just, in the immortal words of fucking Bean, suck a dick with an AIDS on the tip. Keep my name off your lips. Like, literally. Like, that is just where I'm at 50 years old. Fuck all y'all niggas. Tone, where can they get at you, man?
Hey man, at Tony the Dome on Twitter. All the links to the Dome podcast and everything else I got going on there, man. Glad.
All right, no doubt. Eddie, where can they get at you, bro?
Yeah, right there, Eddie D80 on Twitter. I ain't calling that shit X, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's funny. My man got at me the other day. It's like, yo, Kill, man, what's up, man? You ain't editing your curse words no more. You okay? I felt like 3,000, nigga. I'm feeling better than ever, nigga. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm great. Just get these motherfuckers away from me, man. Bro, what's going on? What we cooking up? What we working on, man?
Woo. Yeah. Cooking up our next album called It's Not You, It's Me. It's coming along good. Got some good features. My man Vague came through, blessed. So yeah, it's coming soon. Working on the cover and stuff like that now, and then I'll turn all the songs into my executive producers, Kill and my man JR, and then we gonna put this thing together. It's gonna be crazy though. Like I'm not even like scared or nervous to say this. This is about to be a crazy album. Like trust and believe. I'm not capping, bro. It's about to be crazy. So you can get at me at Uptown Row 215 on the gram and JBen 215 on Twitter. And Yo, I've been saying something I gotta speak on. Like, yo, y'all dudes like calling niggas old and think that's an insult. Like, y'all niggas corny. Like we come from where you getting past 21 is a feat. Y'all niggas is corny. Like, calling somebody old is not an insult, bro. He made it past. Niggas made it past struggle, health, all types of shit that could take you out. And you calling niggas old thinking that's an insult. That shit is corny. I'm tired of saying it on the timeline. So if you got a problem, you can holler at me because I'm, you know.
The funny thing about it, Rose, I'll be trying to school these young motherfuckers. I'm like, because it's so predictable. Like, that's the other part about it, is that it's so predictable. It's gonna be an old joke, old nigga. Look at your old gray beard. And I'm like, you dickheads do know that the goal of life is to get old, right? So this is the equivalent of a poor person calling a wealthy person rich and thinking that's an insult. Like, that's literally how dumb you dickheads sound calling somebody old. It's like a poor bum being like, yo, rich ass nigga, go buy another car. Like, nigga, is that how is that an insult? Like, yeah, I'm about to go buy another car. Like, I'm at where you want to be. And it's sad because I see it with some of my teens that these young boys think being killed early is going to immortalize them. And they really believe that if they die early, it's going to be this graffiti piece put up for them, and it's going to be fucking, little black day. Niggas is going to pour out some liquor. They're going to get drunk. Nigga, you may get a fucking balloon release. You may. I've seen niggas not even get that. You may get a candlelight vigil. Nigga, ain't nobody painting your fucking face on nobody's wall. You may get a t-shirt. Like, nigga, it's not. So, again, I don't know how you can diss somebody for wanting to be what you want to be one day. Because I always tell these boys, like, yo, I'm praying for y'all. I hope y'all grow up to be able to be called old one day. Because that's the thing. Like, you don't want to see your kids grow up. You don't want to spend time with your family. You just, then fucking go kill yourself right the fuck now then, nigga.
Me and you, we get insulted with that all the time.
And I'm like, bro, like, yo, you gotta come with something better than you old nigga. Like,
you in the late 40s, I'm like, yeah, no shit. That's the plan.
Right. Here's the thing, though. Like, y'all out there, look at everyone on this panel, right? We aging gracefully. Y'all 20-year-olds out there looking more stressed out than we are. Y'all looking like you're in your mid. Y'all looking older than us. Come on now. Like, y'all better shut your ass up. Come on now.
Exactly.
But again, this younger generation, niggas don't know. We grew up talking about each other's fucking mothers. Okay, we grew up in an era where we talked about the woman who gave birth to us. Like, we're good at this snap game, nigga. Like, y'all, all y'all got is you old, nigga. Look at your hat, wear a polo, nigga. Do you know how much that fucking coat cost in my fucking profile pic? And you trying to talk shit, nigga? Like, stop it, just stop it. So I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. Just come with something better. Just come with something better. One nigga told me I was successful because I wasn't Swiss Beats. I'm like, my nigga, man. Again, I'm like 3,000. I'm feeling better than ever, baby. I just turned 50. I'm feeling better than ever, looking better than ever, in better shape. The health is getting better, making more money I've ever made. Baby, I'm about to go to college. The marriage is great. Like, bro, nigga, I'm successful. Fuck is you talking about, my nigga? Like, come on, man. Y'all got to stop with that. I'm like, bro, you barking up the wrong tree. Now, there are some miserable ass 50-year-olds out here. Just find them. But, nigga, you barking up the wrong tree with me. I'm good. I'm great, nigga. Shit. I may have to use that 3,000. I'm feeling better than ever. What's wrong with you? Like, nigga, ain't shit wrong with me. I'm great. JR, what do you cook? I'm sorry, Vague first. Bed-Stuy Vintage Volume 1. We working on Volume 2. What's going on with you? Where can they get at you?
All right, you could check out the EP Bed-Stuy Vintage Volume 1, featuring 3 joints that I did. I'm working on Volume 2. I got 2 songs I think are ready, and another one that I want to work on. So not only is it on Bandcamp, but it's also on Apple Music and Spotify, iTunes store, so you can check them out there. Kill on all the tracks. You can follow me on social media at Vegas War INC. And check out my podcast right here on YouTube called Hip Hop Now Podcast. I just did a special episode ranking Raekwon albums. And
I love that one.
What's that?
I said dope episode. I love that one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, just giving some context on his albums, because I felt like people are so, myself included, once upon a time, so attracted to the mystique of Cuban Link that if he just comes out with anything named anything else, niggas ain't checking for. And he's had his one dud that everybody knows, but he has some pretty good albums on average that I think most hip hop heads, if they gave it a chance, they would like. So, and I use my little categories quoting Raekwon and a lot of shit. So,
all right. I don't know if you touched on it, but we may have to come back, because I've always wondered, like, why do you think we don't gravitate to Ray like that? Was it really the immobility was that bad? Like with Ghost, like Ghost doesn't have to put out Supreme Clientele 3, 4, 5, 6. Like we just rocked with Ghost. You know what I mean? But what was it about Ray that kind of like stopped, like stagnated him, and like we never really got back until it was only built for Cuban Links 2. So prayerfully you talk about that. If not, maybe something else in the future, because I'm always intrigued as to like what people think like stopped, like blocked them from becoming greater based off of, you know, that album.
Yeah, I did touch on it, but just real quick, because I think immobility turned people off because it wasn't the sound. It's the same thing with the Cocoa Brothers. Like it was just such a different sound, that aesthetic that you were used to with Boot Camp and Wu-Tang or Cuban Link felt like it was gone, and it felt like, okay, well that's it. But he started to use that again. Similar, the difference with Ghostface is he never stopped, and I think that's why people always check for Ghost, because Supreme Clientele was his follow-up. So
right, all right, no doubt. JR, where can they get at you, good brother?
JR R&B Reps on R&B Reps on Instagram and Twitter. Elise has got this big interview coming up. We hyped about. It'll be out soon. Yeah, when this is out, we did an episode on 1967 with Kamani. We talked about the year 1967, which is going to be a dope episode, so y'all check it out.
I'm sorry, did you say the year 1967?
Yes.
And
I didn't pick it. This young guy, he's 21 years old. His name is Kamani, and he's younger than me, and he knows a lot of shit. Like he takes it back to like the 1920s.
He also knows that you were in all the studio sessions.
Okay.
Oh God.
So you met the younger JR. You met somebody else who knows Doc and Marty.
Yeah, everybody says that. But check us out, R&B Reps anyway. JR's Roller Soul on Instagram. That's about it. That's about it over here.
All right. And y'all know me, Kill889, Twitter, IG. Come through, some crazy shit on the timeline as always, every day. It's never a boring day, man. Never a boring day on the timeline. So
Kill,
if you need some excitement, what's up?
I got one with the Monument. I was thinking about Marvin Gaye in DC. Oh. He deserves one in DC.
That would be dope. Yeah, that would be dope. Where would you want it in DC? Would you want it like in Marvin Gaye Park, like over there, like in Northeast, like where his house is?
Yes.
That was something that we were talking about on the show. Do we want it in Queensbridge, but then people ain't probably gonna go to Queensbridge? So do we want it like somebody had a good point. They said put Run DMC out in front of Madison Square Garden, and I was like, that's dope. You know, I think that would be dope. Like these niggas, you know, that was Run's house. You know, so I thought that was like a dope pick. Like, so you don't have to go all the way to Hollis to see them or whatever like that, and they kind of own Madison Square Garden for a minute like that. Yeah. So I thought that was a dope pull. So would you want it in his neighborhood, or would you want it like downtown DC, down U Street,
maybe
like
downtown there, like you just said, so everybody can go there, because everybody might not want to go to the house. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I think Vague had one of the dopest pulls with putting a Biggie statue outside Barclays Center. Like I think that's perfect. Like coming off the train to go to a game and you see the big statue right there, like people taking pictures with it. Like I think that was a dope pull. Yeah, real dope. All right, good peoples. I will check y'all next week, man.
Hey.